Hi boys and girls, it's me Butch. My name is Terry David Silvercloud. I'm not native, just sounds that way. I'm 81 years old. I'll be 82 in 4 more months. It's June something, I've forgotten. 10th or something. It's Monday. I'm testing out my video gear. I haven't used it for a while, and my memory gets so foggy. I forgot how to use some new gear. So I wanted to make a video because some people have asked me to, and my hormone issues have caused me some skin outbreaks, and I'm so vain I didn't want to be in front of a camera with skin lesions, but what the heck. So I'm going to make a video here just as a test, and what I thought I would talk about is homophobia. It's a subject which has caused me huge issues in my life, huge issues. It kind of dictated my life several times, more than once, and why I'm where I am now, and even who I am now. My legal name is Terry David Silvercloud, but I was born. I've had some teeth removed recently, and I smoked a lot of pot, so my mouth is dry. I was born Alexander Terrence Blair, but I changed my name, and part of that was because of homophobia. So what is it? Homo comes from, I believe, the Latin, which means the same as, like homogenized milk. The fat is the same everywhere in the milk. It's been blended out evenly. So homo means the same as, and phobia means fear. So it's fear of something that's the same, and in this case, same sex, anything same sex, particularly male. Straight guys are sometimes turned on by girl-girl relationships, so they don't bitch too much about it. But many of them, some of them, they get very nasty about male-male relationships. And so there's a lot of videos out there about homophobia, and basically it's fear of same-sex relationships. So I'm 81, and when I was 18, I entered the Navy, and I was attracted to guys. I wasn't out, and I had no idea what gay was. This is 1963. And while I was in the Navy, I basically realized, yep, I'm gay. And that happened while I was in England in submarine school, because previous to that I'd been a navigator on a repair ship and fell in love with one of my sailors. But by the time I got to England, I realized I was crazy in love with him and missed him terribly. And that's when I began to try and figure out how to find other guys and what to do about all this. But the problem was, in those days it was against the law to be gay, and certainly it wasn't going to help my career being a naval officer. And by circumstance, I had only signed on where I had to serve. I said I will serve for 7 years, and they offered me a lifetime job at least 3 times. They didn't seem to notice that I kept turning it down. They sent me to submarine school anyway. And when I got back to Canada, after I went to England to submarine school, and I was out, and I could tell you a bunch of stories about how I came out, but I don't want to waste time on that. We're sort of talking about homophobia and sort of how it personally affected me. I realized I just couldn't stay in the Navy, and I couldn't tell them that I was queer. So when I got back to Canada, young and foolish that I was just being promoted to lieutenant. I knew how to drive a submarine. They spent a lot of money teaching me how to drive a submarine, and I had already been a Naval Navigator, and I was only like 23 years old or something. the commander of submarines called me up to his office and was like, "What are your plans, boy?" And I couldn't tell him that I had originally wanted to be an admiral. I said, well, I still have a couple of years left, or at least more than a year, 2 years left on my 7-year contract, and then I'm going to leave. And he said, "You can't do that." And he thought I'd signed on for life. So the poop hit the fan, and they got really nasty after that. They tried to kick me out. They dreamed up all kinds of things I didn't do and wrote me a letter how I was going to be immediately terminated with nothing. You're out and that's it. No anything. No money is what we're talking about here. At very short notice. And they forgot that I was a very smart boy, so I reminded them about a whole lot of things, and that I was going to fight this all the way to the floor of the House of Parliament. You know, I just don't want to waste time here, but they suddenly realized they were dealing with a really smart boy, and oh yeah, that's why we hired him. He was only 19 years old. We knew he was smart. Okay, let's forget everything nasty we said, and how about this? You can leave immediately, and we'll give you 7 months. We'll keep paying you for the next 7 months, everything you normally got, and then bye-bye, and you're done. And well, they tried to give me a dishonorable discharge, and he said, well, you get an honorable discharge, and we'll pay you for 7 months, and you can just leave. And the whole time, I could not tell them, I love the Navy. I love it. I love submarines. It wasn't into killing people, but you know, I was young and it's all gung-ho and that. And but I couldn't tell them I was queer. And so that's where homophobia first altered my life. Fortunately, I had some other things on the go, and I started a little clothing store in Halifax, and that's another story. And I really did come out and met my, oops, over here, dear, we're over here, come back over here. My tracking device got all carried away there. But this sort of carried on, this homophobia thing where to get a job, I couldn't tell anybody I was gay. In the 1970s, when I was a hippie, I finally got a job because I'd been unemployed for a while. This is after the Navy. I tried art school and realized that's silly. And I was hired to go work with juvenile delinquents in the Okanagan. And I was assigned basically teenage bad boys, or just teenagers, boys that was in trouble with the law. They were just too difficult to handle. They were the type that would tell the teachers to go after themselves and didn't give a crap. And they all smoked cigarettes. And during that stint there, I ended up buying a house because it was too hard to find a place to rent. It was a very religious town, but luckily I bought a house really, that's another story, but I bought a house that was in need of repair, and I'm a handyman kind of person. And while I was working there, a straight guy came to work at this establishment, and we became friends. He taught me how to ski, and I came out to him. Because, you know, the first time I saw him, kids are running around like crazy, whatever the kids were doing. As long as they weren't killing themselves, it was all good. We were right on Lake Okanagan. I saw this sort of bear kind of guy, 20-something or rather, a bit overweight, looking very glum, sitting on the steps of one of our buildings. And I said, "Oh, who are you?" and introduced myself. And he said he was looking for a change of career, and he was trying this out, and he didn't have a clue what to do. I said, "Oh, that's easy, just be you." That's what you gotta do, just be you. There's a bunch of teenage boys out here, and they just need you to keep them from killing themselves, and try to guide them somehow and be their buddy, and try to get them to change their underwear and brush their teeth and stuff stuff like that. And it's easy. They'll get a bit weird sometimes. You'll get used to it. But anyhow, we became friends, and he taught me how to ski, and I came out to him. And at some point, he decided he just wanted to out me to where I worked. And I was terrified of that. This is early 71 or 72. The public would not tolerate, even though now it was legal for me to be queer. It became legal in 1969 in Canada. It was perfectly legal for me to be queer now. Even today, and this is 2026, if the public found out that a 24, 25-year-old queer man was sleeping in the same cabin as half a dozen teenage boys, they wouldn't hear for it. That would go over like the effing lead balloon. That would. I knew it would. I was worried about getting fired too. And so I'd asked to be transferred back to Vancouver, and for some reason that didn't happen because they valued me too much where I was working, where I was. Everybody loved me. I was terrific. I got on great with teenage boys, and I could handle them great. But I quit stupidly because they didn't transfer me to Vancouver, and it was all because I could not tell them I was queer. And anyhow, I had a really miserable year in Vancouver, and I had this house that I was renovating, and the straight guy, there was a whole bunch of things happened, but for a while, he just went and lived there, so for insurance reasons, he got free rent. He didn't care that it was under renovation. My sister and my kid brother and sister came and lived there for a while. That's another long story. And I was in Vancouver. But I decided to come back, and kid brother and sister, who are 11, 12, 13 years younger than me, they found an older brother a bit much, and they quickly moved out. That was okay. I don't know. I don't remember what they did, but they moved out. And my sister was living there because she was trying to withdraw from heroin. And she moved to Calgary to go into a treatment program there. And I was moving back into the house. The point is, I moved back into the house. And I needed a job, and I went out to visit the camp where I used to work with the boys and in Okanagan. And I have to blow my nose. Sorry about that. This was disgusting. You have to give me, I'm unrolling a little piece of toilet paper here. I'm going to turn around and blow my schnoz. Hang on. I smoke a lot of dope, so my sinuses run all the time. Anyhow, I was down in the dock on Lake in Okanagan, and these kids that were still there that I used to know came running down to the dock to see me, and were yakking, and I just simply drove into the camp and went down and sat in the dock, and the kids came to me, or at least the ones that knew me. There was quite a few of them. There were girls there too. And this dude with really long hair and a beard came down the dock and approached me and said, "Oh, you're David, are you?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Oh, can we have a word?" And so I excused myself from the kids, and we went back up to one of the offices, and he was in charge of the camp at that time. He said, "Oh, I've heard a lot about you, and you want a job?" Like, "Oh, okay, sure, but I'm gay." He said, "We don't care. The kids love you. Do you want a job? When do I start? Right now." So I did. So this video's gotten really long, and so I explained to him, if the public found out that a queer man was sleeping in the same cabin with teenage boys, that would just not fly. I don't care how much you love me or how much you don't care. I've been around, and this will not fly. I just know it will not fly. But I'll do it for now, and in the fall, in September, you're building a brand new schoolroom on the camp, and you need a teacher's aide, and I wanted to be it. And they said, "Oh, we already hired a girl to do that." And I said, well, for now, I'll work for you. So through the summer there and up till September, I worked with, I was sleeping in a cabin with teenage boys. And they loved me. And I could tell you some really neat stories there. But September got closer and closer, and it turned out the girl who was supposed to show up as a teacher's aide did not show up. So the next year, I worked for a year in the school as a teacher's aide. So all I had to do was come in Monday to Friday and work with a real school teacher sent by a real school board to our camp to see if they could rub something into their noggins. And that was that. So this this was about homophobia, and mostly it turned out to be about me yakking on and on and on, a motor mouth, OCD, about how homophobia really altered my life. It went on and on as I got older, again having to hide the fact that I was gay. You may be gay coming out or trying to come out, and you have homophobia. Your homophobia is you're afraid that if your friends and relatives find out that you like Johnny or Jane, whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about, if they find out that you're gay inclined, LGBTQ inclined, that they're going to desert you and hate you. Some of them will. Sorry. That's the way it is. But don't worry about it. Things will be okay. The ones that remain are the ones you care about. And as you get older, you'll understand that a whole lot better. But don't worry about the ones that desert you. The ones that stick with you, that's the ones you want. And if you come from a particularly religious background, religion started this whole homophobia thing. I'm serious, and I could spend another 20 minutes yakking on about how religion started homophobia and how Britain basically was the country that made it against the law in so many places. That's a whole other story, and you can look it up online. So I'm just going to shut up now. This is Butch and South, and it's sort of a test of these microphones and stuff and whatever. Bye from Butch and South. I'm looking for the stop button here, which is right there. I'm going to try and touch it. Now, here we go.